Hey everybody, welcome to the Download Youth Ministry web show with the new sound of Doug and Katie and Josh Griffin and our special very guest, very special guest, Megan Bagnell.
Megan,
Megan,
wow.
She airs from junior high. She is the assistant to the Queen. And for those of you that don't know, Katie Edwards.
That makes me the princess.
I was going to say,
Katie Edwards is the queen of junior high ministry. Josh is the junior high pastor and our high school pastor.
Thank you.
And I'm so excited about new equipment. I'm kind of thinking
you're
about
a little giddy right now.
Well,
I get it.
it's just, let's be honest. We've been waiting about 9 months for new equipment.
It's been sitting in that cardboard box over
Today's
there.
the day.
Yeah, but we have to thank our sponsors, Orange and YM360, Leader Treks, and APU. We'll talk more about you guys in a bit, but thank you for getting us new equipment. And here's a story, Megan, about the new equipment. Is we've had it, and the guy that ordered it moved. And so it's been sitting in a box. And my nephew, Elliot, has an amazing podcast. He's recorded like two. That way. And so I said to him on Thanksgiving, I said, I got a deal for you. We got like $3,000 worth of equipment. You can use it for your podcast if you run our podcast.
Oh, feels like a deal.
And the next show, on episode 283, we will actually give you a link to Elliot's podcast because I can't remember the name of it right now.
I'm pretty sure it's called
Almost Famous or something like that.
Basic Pet Maintenance for New Dog Owners. I think that's the name.
Anyway,
of the show.
Elliot's a good young man, and he's brought his friend John to do some camera work. So we got a whole new show. And anyway, let's do this, Megan.
Yeah.
Nobody knows anything about you.
Let's get to know Megan.
So tell us, why are you here? What's going on? Where is Jason? The whole bit.
That is a loaded question.
Why are you here?
I am here.
Well, we're pretty much out of time now, Megan.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
No, you're here. We know why you're here because Jason, our senior pastor, is out coaching his daughter's
championship
soccer game for under the age of 7, where everybody gets a trophy anyway. But he, whatever.
Exactly. He's also
it's
Megan,
a really big deal. You said that in caps in the text.
there were way too many caps.
Megan said the reason that she's on your staff, Katie, is because of the web show. The podcast.
Well, obviously. I mean,
tell us that story. So here's what we said.
Yeah.
What did we say? Save it for the show.
Save it for the show. That's right.
So now we're hearing it for the first time.
Well, I don't want to take any credit away, but this podcast really was a big deal in me becoming full-time in youth ministry.
And a Christian,
totally. But as a volunteer youth worker, my youth pastor that I was volunteering under, he was like, hey, there's this new podcast. You have to listen to it. It's so funny. So when I was at work every day or once a week, I would turn the podcast on and just loved it and felt like I was a part of this family. And so during that journey of being a volunteer, kind of fell in love with youth ministry. God was walking me down that path. And so I was at a conference, and at one of the conferences, I met Josh, and we had a great conversation, stayed in contact over email. The next year, I went to another conference, and after the live podcast, I stopped Katie, and I was like, I have to meet you. I've heard so many awesome things, and so she and I had a great conversation, and at the end of the conversation, she was like, hey, so I have a job. And
It's that easy.
It was like 24 hours.
I mean,
it's that easy.
It's that easy to get a job in youth ministry. You just stop one of us.
Just stop us.
You obviously had to like her.
Yeah.
There's been people that have stopped us before. They were like, "Oh, can we please get away from this person?"
We wanted to stop them.
No, we had a great conversation. It was after the live podcast, which was really fun. I think one of my first times, and so it was great. And we had kind of an instant connection. And
so great.
Yeah, she's worked with.
So
we
brag
worked
on
together
her.
5
Brag
years.
on her.
Oh gosh.
Well, Megan is, a relational giant. So amazing with pastoral care, individual needs of students. She also runs a lot of our volunteer ministries. So coaches, tons of volunteers, all of our systems and everything that goes along with them. Pretty much she is like the glue in our ministry. So if there's a gap, she'll fill it. She's creative, she's thoughtful, she's intentional. She's just a really, really good youth pastor, but she's called and she loves it. So she loves junior hires deeply, loves loves volunteers deeply, comes alongside of parents and a group. Basically, I'm working myself out of a job with Megan, which is the goal, right?
Princess becomes the queen. I like it.
Definitely.
I feel a lot of pressure.
I don't think it's the goal, Katie. I think you don't want to work yourself out of a job because you like your job. You want to work yourself into your sweet spot.
Yeah.
You just want to do what you want to do, what the queen should do.
Yeah.
I feel like talking into the mic and looking at you guys, I'm going to get a crick in my neck. And then as you were talking, Megan, I'm going to go nearsighted because I'm now seeing through this. And there's like 4 versions of you.
I feel like I need to look under to see those two.
We're going to have to get used to this.
We're going to have to
it's weird.
We might want to go back to the crappy equipment. So
everyone else is like, deal with it.
Yeah.
We can't have snarky eye contact with you.
You know what we might have to start doing is charging for the podcast.
I've been saying, I've never said that actually.
No.
But
I don't
280 episodes.
Hey guys and the Queen, this is from Derek Laughlin, student pastor, First Baptist Church, Jennings, Louisiana. DYM member, rewinder, and new student pastor here. Megan, what's a rewinder?
A rewinder is somebody that has gone back to the beginning and started watching all the shows from the beginning.
Have you seen every episode?
I was telling them I was a 00. I started from the beginning, right when you guys started. But then in the past couple months, I've been a little bit, my boss is asking so much for me, so I can hardly fit into my schedule right now. But
yeah, she's a real slave driver.
No, but I definitely do listen to all of them, just not all right on time anymore.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Never let ministry.
How much did you hate Matt?
You miss him.
I loved him so much. Yeah, he was definitely.
I talked to him the next show.
His cackle.
We're gonna have him call in.
Yeah.
Elliot, can you work on that? Call in. All right.
Yeah.
Now that we have such rich sound, now we want to add in calls.
That's
Ready?
exciting.
Derek says, I've been enthralled in your knowledge for several months now, which is why it's the first one I'm reading.
Enthralled in your knowledge.
I enjoy watching the web show and often laugh along with you. My wife was curious as what I've been watching, and now she's addicted as well. On a serious note, I really appreciate you all for your knowledge, humor, insight, and that you bring to the world of youth ministry. In episode 280, Danny, that was just 2 episodes ago.
Just 2 episodes ago.
I know. People say that. I'm like, I don't know. What did we do?
Episode 280, Danny wrote out all the titles and the links to the videos posted on YouTube. I've been going through and doing the same thing, but I'm nowhere near as far as he got, but I'm also getting the main topic for each episode. As I have questions and issues to deal with, it's a good thing to go back and rewatch that show. So if you have the list, I would love to contribute to make the list complete. Also, if Chris isn't able to set up your equipment, which he's not and he moved, let me know. I'd love to visit California, and it would make all of us insiders happy to be able to hear you clearly. So now, Elliot, you're an answered prayer.
Seriously.
That's impressive.
Appreciate that. P.S. On a side note, totally unrelated to anything important whatsoever, when my 4th child was born, she was in the NICU for about a week. And my wife and I spent many hours passing the time watching the web show that week. You guys are awesome. Thanks for what you do.
How great is that? Really cool. That's what we're here for. Yeah.
So in some ways, we brought you here.
Yep.
And we saved the 4th child's life.
Oh my goodness.
Saving the world.
You know what we call that? Tuesday. Just a normal, that's a normal week.
That was good. Hey, we're gonna call this our Christmas show because this is gonna get uploaded before Christmas.
I like Elliot. I don't know if I have that kind of faith.
No, the guy. Listen,
I believe in you.
The guy lives on his phone. Okay. He can actually build a car through an app.
I like it.
Yeah, that's the type of guy he is. Elliot, what are you, 23? 22. And Megan.
You say that, and he's like, yeah, I could.
Single. All right.
Wait, are we talking about Megan's status right now?
Oh, gosh.
Ooh, that's
Is that
big,
single?
Yeah.
Megan's single?
Yeah.
Megan's single.
How long have you been on staff
True.
here?
I have been here for 4.5 years now.
Wow.
I know. It goes by
know.
so fast.
That's incredible.
I know.
4.5 awesome years.
I know.
I mean,
She's
you
the greatest.
texted me the other day and asked me when I left.
I know.
And it's been 6 years.
I know.
That's great.
I was
We're old.
having this flashback reflecting thing, and I was like thinking about you, and then 6 years. Craziness. Okay,
Seems
sorry.
like
That was a total side note.
That's all right. Hey, send your questions in to webshow at downloadyouthministry.com. That's webshow at downloadyouthministry.com. Once again, we're brought to you by our sponsors, Orange, all things orange.
Bananas. Wait, no.
Orange. Hey, the Orange Conference. Go to theorangeconference.com.
Yes.
Join us at the Orange Conference on
so fun.
at the end of April.
Absolutely.
And maybe we can do a live. Maybe we can do a live web show there.
We should. You're going to go. I'm going to go. You're going to go. Megan is going to be replaced. It's all good.
Totally be in the audience. It'll be so great.
You could go because Jason, the senior pastor, is going to be super flighty about something.
No, he'll go.
I can't. I'm golfing. That was my Jason impression.
All right. Here's a question from Mark Eads, who's just a middle school guy. We love Mark. He brings his kids to our student leadership conference in Indiana, which, if you're listening, you missed the early bird special that expired December 15th.
Aww.
Should we give him a promo code, make something up right now, and then have someone do that?
No.
Okay. You're out. Tough luck.
Yeah. We actually, here's the thing we say to all the youth workers at the Student Leadership Conference. How many of you sign up for the $99 deal? And a few do, because, and I say, how many of you missed the early bird? And everybody that raised their hand, I say, God bless you, because we lose money on those that sign up early.
It's a true story. Yeah.
3 days, $99, cheapest conference in the world. This year, the Skit guys are joining us for the whole time.
Wow.
But Mark.
Megan Bagnall will be there, single and ready to mingle.
Yep.
All right. Quick question. In my ministry setting, I've had a couple of different opportunities to work with special needs adults who are part of our ministry, and they have been wonderfully difficult to work with. Many of us in youth ministry have worked with special needs youth and their families, but have worked with special needs adults who are part of your ministry team. I think there's a couple words missing. And I'm going to bite my tongue because I have a funny comment, but it's not funny
smart.
if I say it out loud.
You're smart.
No, it'll be.
Why don't
Save
you
it
just
for after
form a
the show.
question for us?
We'd have to edit.
Well, and Elliot's got enough on his plate right now.
He really does. He really does.
Many of us in youth ministry have worked with special needs youth and their families, but have not worked with special needs adult who are part of the ministry team. Have you guys had any experience that way?
No, I haven't. I haven't really experienced. I mean, I feel like we have a lot of different personalities and different types of volunteers, that kind of thing. But I'm not sure anybody that I would quantify as special needs.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Yeah.
What about special needs kids?
A lot
See, because when I read this, here's where my mind went to. I saw the subject. It was short, and I saw it was from Mark Eads, and I went,
You're like,
he's
we're
great.
gonna answer that. Yeah.
Yeah, we can answer that. It's a question about special needs kids in the ministry. But then, since I read it online right now, I realized that I probably should have prepared the show a little better. I was so excited.
People do ask all the time, do you guys really not prep the show? Exhibit A.
Well, here's the deal. You guys don't prep the show.
I do not.
I read them, print them, and this one I'm admitting falling on the sword.
No, you're great. It's a good question, though.
I do.
You have a lot
Look, I even
things
prefaced it, gave it a title, Special Needs.
Good. I mean, that sounds like half
I thought
the
it was a
battle.
question about special needs kids, which more and more youth ministries are having more special needs kids show up into their youth ministry.
Definitely. And I would say, too, something that we're experiencing a little bit is, so in our kids ministry, we've had kind of a specialized affinity ministry for kids with special needs. Where
Special stars, right?
Superstars.
My kid goes every week. That's not a joke. That's real.
And I would say when they're hitting junior high, and even some that are hitting high school, parents are wanting them to be a little bit more involved.
Mainstream?
Because,
They really do.
they're really wanting, they're trying to mainstream in a lot of different areas. And, and so I would say we're definitely working more and more individually with parents and kids who are wanting to not necessarily do the special student ministry that they have for students with special needs. They want to have them in our program. So we're definitely, really trying to figure that out of how we individually minister to kids who have a hard time listening to music. So we have some kids who leave for music or things like that. So just trying to kind of individually with parents figure out, hey, where can they hang and where can't they hang, and how can we come alongside of you guys for them to have a great experience.
Well, I would say just in broad strokes too, like we have special needs kids in our ministry, and they're high maintenance. Like, they're disruptive. They don't have their attention spans of other students. They get up in the middle of the service and interrupt the message or whatever. And it's so worth it and so great and so awesome. So I would just say we need to acknowledge that there is a discomfort there. Sure. It's not an annoyance, but it's not.
Yeah, discomfort.
Yeah,
you actually described Elliot last Thursday night. I spoke to the college ministry at his church, and he did that.
Yeah.
How embarrassed? How many times did I embarrass you that night? A few?
22.
Yeah.
One for every year you've been
alive. I was reading the
alive.
Christmas story about, Mary being a virgin. And I said, Elliot, I'll explain that to you later.
Oh my goodness, that's
gosh.
incredible. I'll give you a quick story. We have a girl who just cannot sit. Our service is about an hour. Just cannot hang and has to move and has to walk and dances kind of awkwardly during music, and it's a thing. And I think one of the greatest moments in our youth ministry ever was when one of our student leaders, with instinctively or caught or something, just said, I'm going to sit with that girl. I'm going to dance with her. I'm going to be whatever. Yep. It was this awesome moment of like, okay, she just did the message for us in front, right? I know there's someone else talking, but she just lived the message right there. So I think there's also great opportunities
for kids to express their
absolutely
their ministry heart with that. And even whether it's in our youth ministry or in the public schools, I know I found out through another person's dad that, like, when Cody, which is now over 5 years ago, when he was in high school, him and Jason Bowen, you remember Jason? Yeah. They got involved in helping kids with special needs and walking them to their lockers, taking them to class. It's not just, it's helping our kids that are in youth ministry see that they're, what love is meeting needs with love. So where are the needs, find the needs and meet them, whether it's in our youth ministry or at school.
How do you define awkward dancing? Because I feel like most of the dancing in my room,
we see a lot of awkward dancing.
I don't even know that I would be able to determine
Pretty
things.
much described every wedding I attend.
Yeah, basically. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, we're all joining in.
Hey, let's do this. If you have experience with special needs in your youth ministry, send us what you do.
Yeah.
Send it to the web show at downloadyouthministry.com. That's the web show at downloadyouthministry.com. We're sponsored by Orange Youth Ministry 360, who we were just with the other day. Josh and I had a great time.
They're running new summer camps, 5 different locations, killing it. They're awesome.
Yep, they're this summer.
It might be 14, but I'm going to say 5. I don't remember the number. It's a lot.
It's a lot, and they're going to take over the camping world.
They're crushing
That's incredible.
Yeah. Leader Treks, who takes over the Mission Trip world world, and Azusa Pacific University, where you have to actually be a Christian to get into.
Yeah. Worth it. Yeah. Get a good education and eternal security.
I was just on Leader Trek's website checking out refuel retreats.
Oh, you mean leadertreks.org?
Yeah, because I really want to go to one super bad. And so I was checking out because, we've heard about them forever. So I'm just trying to plan out for my next year if we can make one happen. One of them's in Colorado in a castle. And I feel like I want to go.
Here's the deal. You pick which one you want to go to.
Yeah.
Seriously. And you pick which one you want to go to.
Yes.
We'll get it taken care of.
What?
Yeah.
And the assistants.
Well, you know what? We'll have to.
The assistant to the queen.
We'll have to see how you do within the next 20 minutes.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Here we go. I'm on.
Yeah. Katie for sure will go to one of the refuel retreats. And what you can do is you can go to the refuel retreat, stalk Katie, and you might have a job.
It happens all the time.
Pretty much how it works.
Appropriate stalking is.
This is from Jared Edgewood from Bloomington, Indiana. First of all, thanks for all you do. Even though I've been in youth ministry for 15 years, I still learn something new from you guys all the time. I'm a DYM member, which is why the Lord loves you more.
Amen.
And thanks to you guys, a member of XP3, which means they use the Orange curriculum.
Oh, we're sponsored by Orange.
.com. No, the Orange Conference.
I think it's
Sponsored by Orange.
Between the two memberships, I now feel like I have my own creative team, and the content we're putting out each week is top notch. So thanks again for that.
That's really cool.
Gotta send that to Orange. That's a
that's cool.
Was there a question or was it just like a thank you?
No, here it is.
Oh, okay.
Let me give you a little context to the question. Our current situation involves one weekly service for grades 7 through 12. After my message, we break into small groups separated by gender, and then we separate junior high and senior high. I have incredible small group leaders who do an amazing job. Our youth group dynamic has drastically shifted over the last year and a half. For the last 5 years, senior high students heavily dominated the makeup of our group. Now we have as many, if not more, 7th through 9th graders. I have never been a great junior high person. I have some awesome volunteers who are able to relate to them in a way that I just can't, which is amazing. My question comes from some thinking about all of this and how to develop our youth ministry further. Our college team came into a very difficult IU campus. Our college team came into a very difficult IU, Indiana University. And has done far better than any ministry I have seen. In just 4 years, they went from 6 people to having 400 students at their first meeting of this school year, packing out the largest available student room on campus. They took the approach to develop freshmen with the idea that they will become seniors and reach seniors later on. This mentality seems to fall in line with the Orange philosophy in developing and sending off seniors to be the church. I'm wanting to focus our youth ministry evangelistic efforts to be more strategic in bringing in junior high students, which in long term will impact our high school ministry, which at times becomes stagnant in relationship in bringing in new students. Junior high students, I have noticed, are far more enthusiastic about bringing friends and attending events. I do not want to alienate our senior high students, but I really feel like we need to reach more junior high. What are tips and suggestions on things we can do to develop and grow our junior high group? Logistically, it does not make sense for us to separate into 2 services just yet. Our junior high needs to grow some more before we look at doing that. But I love their energy, and I think it's incredible potential there. Hope to see you all at Student Leadership Conference in Granger, Indiana next year. We were there last year and had a great time at Buffalo Wild Wings with you guys.
Yes, that was a fun time.
All right. Well, we've got 2 junior high veteran pro lady, queen, and princess here.
Yes.
Yeah,
So what are tips and suggestions on things we can do to develop and grow the junior high group?
What do you think, Meg?
Yeah, when I was reading that, I was thinking of, using your current junior hires and really helping them own your ministry and buy into what you're doing and feel inspired. Yeah, I see you.
I got to get a better vision here.
But I think that's where you start, because, man, we have seen a huge growth in our current students loving to come to JHM, but also loving Jesus and following him, wanting to share him with their friends and inviting their friends to come to church. And so we've really invested in just planting seeds in those current students, seeds like our student leadership program that we're doing, which has just brought in some students that feel like they're a part of making our weekend services really great and something that they have a thumbprint on. And even serve events that we've done with students, things that we're doing to invest in them, but also equipping them to go and share Jesus with their friends and invite friends to church and making that a really big deal. And they have been doing that. And so I think to get more junior high students into your weekend service, that would be a great first step. What else would you say?
I think with junior hires,
See
one
how
of
she
the
transitioned there?
Yeah, that was
Nice.
incredible.
What else would you say?
Yeah.
Let me just give you a little handoff. You go now. It's your turn to talk.
You know what? Megan, Josh has never been a great co-host.
That's not entirely true.
So that position
entirely.
might be open.
Okay. Megan, how do you feel about
I'm Katie. No, I think one of the things about junior hires that I would add to that is just that they helping them understand what belonging to the church looks like and belonging to community and beginning to I think that's part of our role in junior high is really helping them understand the role of student and life group leader, what it looks like to have a mentor. So setting them up hopefully long term to want a mentor in high school, helping them find ownership, those first kind of tastes and planting the first seeds of serving or doing something hands-on or inviting a friend, making things really entry level. So creating a belonging sense, I think really sets up for our handoff to high school. So for us, we want to hand off students who, can articulate their faith in Jesus, but also have fallen in love with being part of the church. Because I think when they fall in love with being part of the church, then we can hand them off to high school to start kind of doing some more deeper level things. So I think part of junior high is just a lot of seed planting, exposure, entry level level things, but really helping them fall in love with the community so that they seek that out and desire that in high school. And then that's where we've seen a lot of our junior hires transition into high school, ready for some next level leadership,
Absolutely.
ready for leading ministry teams. So you have sophomores, freshmen and sophomores who are in your student leadership who are doing deeper level stuff, I think, because they've had those seeds planted.
Absolutely.
So
I would agree.
Leader Checks was a big part. I think I've said this before on the show. Leader Checks, you know, we adopted something from them that just exploded in junior high, and they have this kind of student leadership based thing that's project based. So we do 3 student leader projects in the year, and anybody can come to those. And we do leadership training, and there's serving, and there's behind the scenes stuff. And that has just been a really cool entry level thing to kind of get them to transition from kind of an attender to maybe a core member of our ministry. And so it's been really cool. So Leader Treks has some really great stuff for junior high specific that I would recommend.
That's good.
So of just creating that ownership piece.
Yeah.
Do you think junior high ministry is it getting easier or more difficult to transition your junior hires into high school? Or do you think the challenges are the same today as they were 5 years ago?
They feel the same. I think our junior hires are up against more and more every year. You know, the age range of what they're exposed to is younger and younger. So us bringing them in is, I think, what Josh was bringing in 5 or 6 years ago, you know, just like of what they're exposed to culture wise. I think the transition from 8th to 9th is the hardest and the most important leap. I think it's really hard to leap from the kids building to junior high just because it's a lot of change in general. But our transition, I think, is so crucial, which is why we work so hard together to get them to summer camp, to get them in a life group, to really try to hold their hand and do a good handoff with him. Because I feel like if they don't make the leap from 8 to 9, they have a really hard time coming back. Yeah. I think seeds are planted, so they will come back. But I think if they go from us to adult church, it's almost impossible for Josh to get them back, I think. Yeah. So it's a really important handoff.
Thinking about a combined program that is part of the question too, I think you actually have some wins in that.
Yeah.
Like obviously you do go from, you know, being an 8th grader to being a freshman really easily. But I would also put juniors and seniors up in front of the group as often as possible and just model for those junior hires. This is what the future looks like. This is who you can be. Like kind of set the bar for them.
So you're putting juniors and seniors up in front of the junior high group?
Of the whole group, yeah. Okay. So that the junior high, if they're combined especially, so that they're looking on stage going, oh, I could do that, or that could be me, or in a few years, like give them something to aspire to as well. I mean, you do a great job of using high school students in your ministry.
I was going to say, that's a really great advertisement for high school ministry is we have these super cool juniors and seniors who are leading small groups and who are at our weekend program. And so even if you can tap some of your current juniors and seniors to work with the 7th graders, I mean, there's some really cool cohesion that could happen in a 7 through 12.
I looked at your Christmas party Instagram and it was like all these great volunteers and some really great older volunteers. And then I was like, junior, senior. I mean, it was like a ton of great high school students serving in our junior high. And I'm like,
a quarter of our team is high school students, and they are doing great ministry. Ministry.
My oldest son is in a junior high group, and I'm stoked because Everett is a senior in our high school ministry, and he's pouring into my son. I love that. I mean, I want that.
Every weekend, we have students that will come over and just visit us and say hello, and they'll be like, so when can we start volunteering in JHM again? You know, and so it's fun to see them so excited to want to come and serve. Yeah. So,
and that's the ownership piece, right? Is that's cycling in all places.
You know, it'd be an interesting resource for DYM is to put like 10 must-do transition ideas.
Oh, that would be a great one.
You know,
and the book would be called The Handoff, because we talk about the handoff a lot.
Yeah. Ooh, could I help?
No, I think
we do two. We do two. You know, one from 6th grade and then one to high school. So in 2 very different handoffs.
Well, even if it was just like a guided discussion sheet or maybe a video training or something, that'd be
things
really
to think
cool.
about. That would be great. I would totally buy it.
I think
buy your own video.
Take the lead. We'll do an ebook. We'll do a free ebook. We'll get Heather Fleece. How great is she? I saw your Instagram.
I hung out with her for 2 days. 2 blissful days with her.
If you don't don't know, Heather Fleece is a long-term junior high pastor in Minnesota. Josh and I...
she's a riot.
She's funny.
She's the best.
Just fun.
Yeah. She actually... I told her, I think she has guy humor.
Oh, yeah. She's the best.
Total guy humor.
Is she doing the video training this month for members?
She's doing the video training for DYM members in January.
In January, yeah. So this upcoming month.
Yeah.
So
she has a unique ministry, too, because her ministry is 7-8-9.
Yeah.
And so she really kind of how she does it is really cool. And what they do with the 9th graders, I don't know. She's got some good stuff going on for sure. She's,
Well, she can help write the ebook.
Really
the
love.
handoff.
Yeah, she's
now
incredible.
available. Now we're not that fast.
Yeah. Why don't you buy
By
the
Tuesday.
domain
Yes,
real quick?
seriously.
Handoff.com.
Okay.
Okay.
And Ellie won't have the show up for a while, so we're fine.
Ellie brought his buddy John to film it, and John does John look bored to death?
Yeah.
John.
There's one single tear of boredom running down his face right now. Now we have a new camera, not only new sound, but if you're watching the show, there's a new camera recording us today too. So we're in the highest definition we've ever been in.
Oh,
But
shoot.
here's the deal. Here's the deal with the
dressed
highest
differently.
definition. He said he has to stop it every 12 minutes.
Oh yeah, do you need to stop?
How
it
many
quick?
times have you done that so far, John? You've done it twice.
Wow.
We didn't even know. So there's probably going to be some
just like
blip
glitches.
for the video
Yeah.
people.
All right.
Yeah, it's all right.
All right.
This we'll end with this one. This is from Chrisman
Mary Chrisman
Kochig
from
Coastal
Czechoslovakia.
Life Church.
Okay.
Cell phone number is 772-23. But it kind of follows in what we talked about. He says, we all know the benefits of splitting middle school and high school.
Oh, yeah.
But what are some of the pitfalls of splitting middle school and high school? Because let's dovetail onto what we just talked about.
Yeah.
I've been in contact with youth pastors on both sides of the fence. Some say it's the best thing to do. Others say it's like they like having high schoolers mentor middle schoolers and keep them together. Maybe the key is keeping the youth group program 6 through 12 by empowering 10th and 12th graders to really run the program, having another night for deeper Bible study for 10th through 12th graders. I'm very interested in your thoughts. Context, our youth ministry is at a pivotal point where some cliques and clustering are forming, which is not uncommon to youth ministry, but I want to make sure that we're doing all we can to foster environments of community, unity, etc. I'm a little fearful of splitting for workload and momentum's sake. We have average attendance of 35 to 50 students in 6th through 12th at youth group with 8 to 10 adult youth leaders. Would love to hear your thoughts. So what are the pitfalls of splitting?
I like it. Well, I think you can miss out on the energy pretty quickly. Let's say you had 30 students, you have 20 junior hires and 10 high school students together. There's fun energy. You can play a game and there's some buzz, or divide into a couple teams. It just feels like a crowded room is a room I want to be in. It's an inviting, welcoming place. So you divide that up and now you've got 10 high school students. That's not as exciting as 30, even if it's junior high. And I know there's a little bit of a withdrawal there. I would take 30 combined over 20 and 10 separate any day of the week.
Yeah, I would too. I think, splitting, when you think momentum is going to work in your favor, not take away from it.
Yeah.
So, shrinking them down might take away from momentum. I definitely think critical mass and energy kind of feels like something's happening and moving. I do think small groups is a great place to split.
Yeah.
So there are so many cool things you can do together, even elements of fun, video, humor, things like that I think can be done together where you can capitalize on that.
One music time.
Yeah, for sure. It's sharing resources there. But I think small groups, even messages, I think a 7th grader can sit in a high school message. Maybe you're shortening a little bit so that small groups have a little bit more discussion time. And so maybe splitting small groups for discussion time could be a great place to even begin that doesn't feel like it's taking away.
Yeah.
I volunteered in a ministry where it was a combined ministry of 7 through 12. And we did everything together, the worship together, the games together. And then we would split off. And so the high school would have a message while the junior high went and did small groups. And then they would switch. And the junior high had their message while the high school ministry did small groups. And so that was one way that worked well for that ministry. And they were still able to have the critical mass to do the games and worship. But they were able to really target, the specific ministries for the other things.
Was it the same message, but they just flip-flopped?
No, it was a different message for junior high and a different message for high school.
Different communicator too?
No, same communicator.
Same communicator
Yeah, they
wrote
did
two
different
messages?
Yeah, on the same topic, but I think they just added in,
same topic, just modified.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, oh gosh, that's
Yeah,
terrible.
no kidding. Well, we've done 282 shows, and almost every time this question comes up, we probably answered it 10 times.
Yeah.
I'm always in favor of splitting. I just think what a 6th grader or 7th grader is going through is so radically different than what a 11th or 12th grader is going through. But I do understand you're also splitting, the pitfalls is you're splitting energy, you're out another night of the week, you're, dividing resources. So, there are definitely some pitfalls to it. And, there's never just one way to do youth ministry.
Well, and kids are different too. I look at my own kids, an 8th grader right now. He could probably hang with high school. He's just a little mature, firstborn, whatever. I look at my 6th grader right now, and he's going to just hold on to junior high. It seems like as long as possible.
Like his dad.
Like his dad, yeah. So I like the idea of
We will keep
split
him.
ministries too, and culture and love and motivate, push them forward, hand them off well.
And I think I would say too with your volunteers, there are definitely a crew of volunteers who get junior hires and love junior hires. So I think there are ways to be intentional in the big group of identifying a junior high volunteer and a high school volunteer team, because your volunteers and my team, we're real different in our approach.
Sure.
So that's something.
Well, let's work on the handoff. Let's work on that resource.
Like it. That's a great idea.
And you guys model it well because you work together well. Kathy and I are doing some consulting for a youth ministry right now where the junior high and the high school, they don't even play together. And so, they wonder why some of the issues that they're struggling with. It's pretty obvious.
Well, I will say this. It is difficult because our students love JHM. It is a special, pivotal moment in their development, in their faith, in their everything. So the fact that we get JHM's blessing to high school ministry is huge. The fact that you are pushing them to us and telling how you're going to love it and go to camp and whatever, because and as a very satisfied parent of a junior high student, you're killing it. And it's so good for my boy. But thank you for pushing him to me so well.
One of my favorite things that freshmen always say to us, and they will come back a few months after they've transitioned, after maybe high school camp with Josh, and they'll be like, no offense, but high school camp was so much better than junior high camp, And it's funny because I'm like, I totally get it, and I try to explain. No, you know what? We have done our job. We have done what we were supposed to do. If you loved high school camp or the junior high camp, because that's the next step for you, and we want you. Oh, okay.
Yeah, save it for the book. Hey, $2.99.
That's the opening story.
In stores everywhere. $2.99.
Young Kyle came to visit me the other day.
Hey, well, here's the deal. Megan, thank you for joining us
Thank you for having
episode
me.
282. Everybody, you have a happy new year.
Yeah.
My favorite Christmas carol is God Rest You Merry Gentlemen.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got a text from Matt McGill yesterday. He says, I'm in a coffee shop and God Rest You Merry Gentlemen. I said, to be known. I only sing 2 songs in my house.
Humble thyself in the sight of the Lord.
No, that's when I can play on the guitar. I don't sing that.
To be not known.
I said, one song is When I Walk Through the Doors, If You Think I'm Sexy by Rod Stewart. But during the Christmas season, it is
You switch.
Thyself no, it's
No, it's
God
Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, let nothing you dismay.
These new mics.
Keep going.
Remember Christ our Savior.
We'll see you in 2016.
Hey, here's the deal, but we actually really want to see you. Let's tell them about the contest.
Okay, let's do it. You can come hang out with. Should we invite?
It's okay. I already saw the ad. My picture's not in it.
It's
so
not.
It's just you guys.
Come have dinner with Doug and I at a fancy steak restaurant. I just made that up. I don't know where
it'll
we're
be fancy.
Fancy steak
Then
restaurant.
it can't be Outback.
Well, that's a fancy steak.
No, it's
No,
not.
it's gonna be fancy. We're spending money.
It's not fancy.
We're spending money. It's fancy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fancy. We're not going Outback.
They're an
Outback's
F.
like barely
They get an
above
F.
McDonald's.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm with
All right. That ribeye, though.
Denny's.
All right. If we say better, I'm in, but don't knock out back. Have dinner with Doug and I. We're going to pick one of the new yearly members for Dowling Youth Ministry. So become a yearly member. You're
And
in
if
the
you're
contest.
already a
you're
yearly
in.
member, you're in the contest.
Of course
we're
you're in.
flying out 2 different people, all
love
expense paid.
Do they get to sit in on this?
That's not a bad idea. I don't know if
that'd
they'd
be
want
fun.
to or not, but
yeah.
Why wouldn't they want to?
now that we have
I'm
mics,
so confused.
Elliot, how do we do? Good.
Oh, 2
all right,
thumbs
up.
John, still
John,
awake.
we got to just
all right.
wake John up and we'll be all set.
All right. Hey, the next show will be brought to you by Orange, and we have a special guest, Catherine Jean Fields, will be on the show.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men
Bye,
and
friends.
women of all ages, we will see you on episode
Bye. See you next week.
283.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Yes. And scene.